In today's video, we want to take you through the ArcDroid and show you how simple it is to use this machine, from tracing a part to its completion, or using a computer-aided drawing to create more complex shapes and more complex features, and being able to cut those out as well. What we're going to do now is actually take you through how to trace a part and through to cutting it. So before we do anything with the ArcDroid, we need to home the machine so it knows where we're at. So on our screen, we'll press home and it'll reset itself back to its home position. Here's a drawing that we have done earlier. So using a couple of magnets to hold our bit of paper down so it doesn't move. Now with the ArcDroid, it is updatable. So if you have an older one, update it now and you'll even be able to do the arcs that are on here. So in order to do the trace, we push our trace button and we come into this screen. Now the trace is all point to point. We have the laser stylus on here, which is an extra or an add-on that you can use. And it just makes life a bit easier for doing your tracing. All right, so now we're going to be doing our trace. So we select our first point down the bottom here, push the button on our stylus, or we can use the button on the screen, or there is an optional foot pedal, which would make life easier as well. Go to our next point, push the button, and come up to our arc. Press the button. Now, if you've updated, you'll now have the option to do an arc. We go to the top of the arc, to the end, and then we come to the bottom. Now that we've got that basic shape, we hit our tick. If you've managed to hit every spot correctly, it'll have closed, but it didn't, so it'll close it off for us. We want to cut this from the outside and have a little bit of a lead in. Now we come and we do our circles. So we hit our shapes. It's already selected to circles. Top one, which will be a little mounting hole, is a 10mm hole. We want to cut that from the inside. And again, a little lead in. Next one. These are 12.7. And it remembers the rest of the details. So now we're going to do all of the same holes at once, because it will remember each of those settings. And then we do the big one. Which is 25.4. And there we have our completed trace. All right, so now that we've got our trace in, we need to set the machine up, ready to do our cut. So the first things first, because we've drawn our triangle first, it's going to try and cut that out first, which we don't want. So we're going to select our button that will order the cuts. So now it will do our circles first, and then our outside bracket. Next bit is actually setting it up to match the plasma unit that you're running. So we've got a 45 amp machine that we're using at this point in time, and we're only running on 1mm mild steel. So we go to our settings, or the little cog. Now, 45 amp plasma, 1mm mild steel. We're going to run this fairly quickly, 5100 mil a minute. Our clear, 5mm from the top of the material is going to be fine. Our pierce height we need to set, which we'll run at 3.5. Our cut height we need to set, which will be 1.5. Our kerf, just so we can put it in, is about 1mm. Our pierce delay, being so thin, is 0.2 of a second. So it will pierce very quickly. Once we've put those in, we press our green tick, and then we can save all of those features. We can rename our file so we know what it's called. We'll call it bracket. Okay. And now that has been saved. We can exit and we're ready to move on to cutting. So now that we've got our drawing done, we'll move our little template. We need to get rid of our stylus. We unplug it. 2 quick little flips. Stylus comes off. Now we've taken our stylus off, we put our torch in, drop the clamps, and we're good to go. So now we'll do a test run, make sure that our drawing is going to fit within our material that we've got here. So we just press our run button. You'll notice that there's no plasma set up to run. So the torch will drop down to the material, sets off a little micro sensor, and it'll drop down, lift itself back up to the required height. And we can see that'll fit in with the boundaries of the material we have. Make sure you put your earth clamp on and press our little lightning button, and then we can hit run again and sparks will fly. Now the cut is done, and we can take it out. So this piece that we cut out was cut out of 1mm material. So as you saw, that was cut quite fast. Now we can cut out a thicker material, but bearing in mind, depending on the material will affect how quick we cut it, how long we have our pierce time for, or do we need a bigger machine? So for example, that was cut at about 5,000 mil a minute. If we were to make that 4mm, we're going to be cutting at around 1,900 mil a minute. Our pierce time is going to come out to be about half a second as opposed to 0.1, and we can go on from there. If we're going to cut 10mm, we'll probably actually look at upgrading our plasma. We have a 45, and while the 45 will do it, using a 60 or an 80 amp plasma will cut a lot cleaner, and you're then able to do it that little bit quicker than you can with the 45 amp that we have on ours. So really depends on the machine you're using and understanding the capacity of the machine. And the important feature for really all of this is you can't edge start on the ArcDroid. You can only pierce. So while your machine might be capable of doing 16mm like a 45 amp is, the reality is it won't pierce that. So you really need to be aware of the machine that you're buying and using with the material thickness that you're trying to cut. When you're trying to do something that's a little more difficult and is going to be really hard to trace, you can use your computer-aided drawings, save those drawings as a DXF file, and then the machine will actually convert that to a G-code, so you can then go and do your cutouts from that. So we've got our USB stick that we've saved a file on, stick it in, we go to load, find the one that we've wanted to do, and then that'll bring it up on our screen. Now from here, I need to manipulate it a little bit to make it fit onto the material that we have left. So I need to rotate it. So we go into our trace feature and press our little rotate button, which brings us into another screen. So if we go to A for angle, and we'll change that to 105, and hit enter. That now gets it in the angle that we're after. But on this screen, you can see you actually have a few other options. You can run it as a mirror in terms of, so we'll invert it. You can actually do patterns, so you can have multiple versions of this. So you have a few options with your drawing as well, so you don't necessarily have to draw multiples to be able to print multiples. So in this case, to try and get my flat against the bottom, I've had to rotate it about 105 degrees. Now the next step that I need to do is actually reset our 0 point so that we can have it in that back corner where we want it. Remove our torch, because that's what we're going to use to work out where our 0 is going to be. Press our 0 button. Now we need to check out our tune. So we've got our feed is right, but the rest of the values are wrong. So we'll only need it to run 5 mil above our material. Our pierce height was 3.5. Our cut was 1.5. Kerf is 1. And pierce delay is 0.2. And we hit enter. And then we have our product ready to do a dry run and then cut out. Now, ArcDroid does actually provide post-processors for programs like Fusion 360 and a few others. So you can actually even create your G-code on your computer, do a simulation to make sure it'll run even before you plug it in. And then the ArcDroid will read that G-code and be able to come off and print your drawing or cut your drawing out that way. So there are two ways you can plug in your drawing, either through DXF or saved it as a G-code, where ArcDroid have provided that post-processor for you. So now that we've got it set up, we'll run a dry run, make sure that it's going to fit in our little space. And we can see that'll fit in with the boundaries of the material we have. So now we're ready to run our job. We make sure that we've got our plasma primed, earth bleeds on, make sure our little plasma arc is ready to go, and we hit run. So here's our finished product. As you can see, this is something that you wouldn't be able to trace, but having the ability to use a computer program, save as a DXF, and you can still get the outcome and cut the file that you want. So as you can see, the ArcDroid is easy to use, it's portable, easily to update with regular support coming through, and available now on our website.